Beh, I can't really tell from here. And it looks like we are underway. And the power glove in Link's house.
Oh man, what
It's
a first!
so bad.
What a first item to find here.
And so everyone but Chrouya picks that one up. While we're thinking about it, let me give a shout out to both of our trackers. Today we've got Dude on tracking and MathGirl718 on the other tracking the upper race today. So both of them will be doing a great job of keeping track of what items have occurred.
Yep, shout outs to them. The four-way race, always a little bit more challenging.
So 3 of our runners elected to start from Link's house, but Chrouya decided to start from Sanctuary and take the north route around. And in the Lumberjack Cave, just a big heart.
Yeah, nothing they will probably want to pick up. So far we don't really know, obviously, if Ago 1 will be required, but even if it is, they might not go back for that heart container.
So Prier and Swerb both left the Sanctuary at roughly exactly the same time, but Swerb is heading to the back of Escape, which seems problematic on account of not having any bombs.
Yeah,
Now,
I was just going to mention that, and it seems he realized it too.
So the records of our racers, the top race is between Prier and Evanidus, who are at 2 and 2. And Swerb and Chrouya are both 1 and 3. So Swerb and Chrouya are both fighting to avoid elimination from the tournament. And woo! There's an 8 bomb pull on Chrouya's screen.
A beautiful tree pull for Chrouya, filling out all the bombs that he can carry currently, and also good information to have for later, obviously.
So we know how to get bombs. I don't think it was the tier 1 bomb pull. I think it was like tier 3 or tier 2. I don't know if Chrouya took any damage. He did, so it's tier 2. And Chrouya is heading into Blind's hut.
Yep, we're getting our first Kakariko check here, while Evanidus is, I believe, blind doing the race game.
There's the Ether Medallion in Blind's hut. And the shovel on the race game.
Alright, I think this early on, especially when you're down here, the shovel is not so awful, since you can check over there right quick.
You can just go and grab it immediately.
We also got a quick map check, Green Pendant,
Also,
Tower of Hera.
Yeah, we also got a sword in Blind's hut.
Ooh.
I neglected to mention that. Alright, so now we're heading into the Kakariko well. There's the validation arrow.
Alright, good to get that out of the way early on.
Yeah, so the sword was the very first chest that you generally open in Blind's hut, and then Ether.
Yeah, so far, a little bit of an empty Kakariko, especially compared to what we've seen before.
Yeah, so far. I mean, we do have Ether, we do have a sword, but no real actual progression so much. Unless, of course, Ether is required for one of the dungeons.
We see Evanidus checking here in the bombable hut, guaranteed 4 bombs every time you enter. A pretty good place to farm for some bombs if you don't have enough money to buy any. It's a little time costly.
If you don't have money for bombs and you don't know where to get bombs otherwise, this is a pretty good deal. Now, of course, if he had done the tier 3 tree pull, he would know, or 2, excuse me, tree pull, he would have all the bombs he could stand. All right, so Chrouya sees that shovel and decides, nope. And then goes to pick up that power glove in Link's house. So now everyone has the power.
Everyone has the power of it so bad.
Yep.
Okay,
I don't know if anyone... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, Evanidus is on his way to pick up his sword, and Prier checking the rest of Blind's hut here, while we see Chrouya going down the South Hyrule.
And Chrouya found a heart container in the dam, and we'll see what's under the water. I don't know if anyone here has ever used a power glove, but it actually is very bad, like in the literal sense. Like, it's really hard to use.
Yeah, I can absolutely confirm that. I was the lucky/unlucky kid who had one of those.
Alright, so Prier and Evanidus should both have a sword available. And then that will make things pretty good for them. Now, Chrouya is heading into the Mini Moldorm Cave. Now, the Mini Moldorm Cave is a little tricky to do with, you know, a fighter's sword, because they control you. They really can. They are related to the larger Moldorm, who will also troll you. And we've got Blue Ouija. Blue Ouija down there in the Mini Moldorm Cave. That's the only thing of any real significance, minus what appeared to be a 100 rupee cache, which is not that important.
No, I mean, at the start of the game, you're kind of happy for any amount of rupees you find, because you're always saving up for that Zora and everything, but...
Speaking of which, Chrouya is going directly for the fake flipper. I feel like this is just going to be a fake flipper to Hobo, and then leave, because no rupees for Zora and no Moon Pearl to do the Jesus Walk. There's the hammer! The hammer in the dig spot!
Oh man, and I think Chrouya skipped out on the shovel. Yeah.
Chrouya said nope. And there's the Moon Pearl in the back of Escape. So, hammer, gloves, Moon Pearl, we have Dark World access.
Yes, spectator or commentator Dark World access at the very least.
Indeed. And Prier will be getting actual Dark World access ever so soon.
Yep, and there it is. Prier is our first person in this four-way race to get the Dark World access.
Yeah, we all know what happens when you skip a shovel that's necessary. And Prier is opening this again, but I think he's doing Houlihan.
Yes, absolutely looks like it.
So the Houlihan room, it's a place where you can pick up a bunch of rupees one time, and it is it's a little Easter egg hidden in the game. Prier just leaving 5 of those rupees behind.
Man.
If he goes up to Zora and he's got 495, I'm gonna be... well, it's gonna be hilarious.
Wouldn't that be a thing? Oh man, and we see Evanidus not wanting to deal with those mini Moldorms at all. Puts his ether to good use. Meanwhile, Chrouya making his way down to Zelda's cell.
Alright, now Swerb is gonna pick up that shovel. I mean, the hammer at the shovel location. He's gonna pick up his shovel and use it.
Thankfully, I would say for Chrouya at least, it is the hammer that's buried there. So unless he manages to somehow find the Titan's mitts, he should be stuck relatively soon-ish.
Cyclone Generous Guy had the blue mail. Alright, 300 rupees down there in the escape, so we're not going to be at 495.
Yeah, guess paid off to skip that one blue rupee there.
Well, I mean, it's not Prier who went to go get it, so...
Oh,
we don't
yeah,
know,
okay.
We don't know how long it'll be till he goes to escape. Alright, so, into the dungeon chest. And what do we find? Just the burrito.
Oh, man.
I think dungeon burrito would not be particularly tasty.
Probably not. You never know how long that's been sitting in that cell there.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so now Prier will be heading over to the fake flipper spot. Interestingly enough, nobody quite opting for the ice rod cave at the moment.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that. It's I mean, it's an out-of-the-way spot you don't really want to walk to, but it's easily accessible, and we've seen it hold some important stuff in the past.
Yep. I always like it when there's something good in the ice rod cave, because that means somebody's gonna skip it and we're gonna have ourselves a race.
That's very true.
Apparently we have someone who has actually eaten a burrito in a dungeon.
I'm not gonna ask why you spend your free time in a dungeon, especially eating a burrito in there, but sure.
I mean, it sounds okay to me. Alright, so we've got the reverse fake flipper up on our upward races, because they both have the moon pearl. Meanwhile, Swerb has the moon pearl and is going to take it to the dark world. We're going to see some hype cave.
Let's hope it is actually hype for a change. It's been kind of 50-50 lately.
And
in the meantime,
okay, so we've got Big Heart, Lamp, Flippers, Bow.
Oh man, okay. That is worthy of a hype cave.
So hype cave is back. Guess who's back? Back again. Hype cave's back. Tell a friend.
Meanwhile, we see both of our top runners here opting to check for the waterfall fairy, which didn't really have anything. Prier even decides to check the ledge here for Zora, only a red rupee. So unless Zora, him or herself, I'm never quite sure, has something of value, that whole Zora area is quite the dud.
So you know what Swerb's discovery just opened, right?
You mean other than a ton of things?
Well, one thing it opened completely is everybody's favorite mullet dungeon, Palace of Darkness.
Ooh. And now the sync is real on our right side runners. They're not in the same race, but they're still syncing up here.
Mm-hmm. Just a whole lot of nothing there in Sazrala's hut, but Prier is going to go in and pick up his hype cave. And goodness.
Man, and at this point, Chrouya is checking out Eastern. I can't blame him, but I hope after he's done in there and hopefully does not pick up the Titan's mitts, he will remember about that shovel, otherwise he will be stuck here.
So Chrouya is heading into Eastern Palace.
Yep. And Swerb is making his way over to pod, just as he predicted.
So, 3 of our runners in, very similar locations, just maybe, across dimensions. Meanwhile, Evanidus and Chrouya having very high sync level. Their synchronization level is at about 94%.
Oh man,
That's
that's
right,
Sync
I
on the
went
right
there.
side.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Prier will be joining Swerb in the Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, I can't blame him at all. After that hype cave, it's basically an invitation to go here immediately.
The chest in the cell in the basement, we have seen that. So people are asking about that.
Yeah, true. It was only a burrito.
Yeah. So we've got a bunch of heart containers. We've got a large key in a big key in Palace of Darkness, and Swerb is going to head up to this these two bowlock chests. We've got a small key, and I imagine we'll get another small key in this chest. It seems likely.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to find anything else. Maybe a big key. Nope.
Now the big key was in the first chest.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, so there's this whole lore behind Palace of Darkness, where everything up front is all keys.
This is an interesting routing choice from Swerb.
Yep. Yeah, I guess he's going straight to the boss.
Yeah, I guess he just wants to get it over with and then maybe dip back in for the left side. It's not a terrible choice, it's just not something we see very often at all.
Yeah, because he has two keys, he can do this without really messing himself up.
Oh, and the hook shot in Eastern for Evanidus there.
Ho ho!
I must have
Hook
missed
shot.
that since Chrouya already has that on his tracker, so he picked it up right there too.
Yeah, the hook shot found in Eastern, the issue there being it was in a technically lamp-locked room.
Yeah,
so that's really not an issue. What that is it tells you that the lamp can't be anywhere that's hookshot locked. So that gives you a little information.
Yeah, and Chrouya doesn't care about the sequence breaks at all, makes his way right up to Death Mountain with a newfound hookshot.
Yep. Meanwhile, Evanidus will be heading down into the basement of Hyrule Castle.
Yep, not going to be too happy about what he finds here. We do see that Swerb almost has made it to the boss now, while Prier seems to be checking the whole dungeon before making his way down there. So a slight routing difference, but time-wise, it shouldn't make too much of a difference, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure which one is actually more efficient. The thing is, what Swerb is using is he's using the fact that when you beat the boss, you go to the entrance as a free mirror.
Yep, exactly.
We don't have a mirror.
And he also gets a free refill of his hearts. Not that he had any problems before, but...
Yep.
Alright, so we're gonna get a little preview of what Swerb will be going back for here on Prier's screen.
Alright, so in the Dark Maze we have a piece of heart. And a Fisher-Price shield.
Nah.
Let's see what's in the big chest. 300.
More
300
money.
rupees. Well, Prier was short for Zora until that point, so there you go.
Yep, and Swerb is still kind of low on money, so he probably won't mind the 300 so bad. Looks like Evanidus is planning to do the whole escape sequence here, going for the Death Ward back up to the entrance of Hyrule Castle.
There is an item inside that escape sequence toward the back, we saw the burrito and the small key, so there's something there. We don't know if it's going to be useful, but there is something.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, on Chrouya's screen, he is checking the rest of Paradox Cave. So far, hasn't really paid out too much.
Yeah, looks like Pod, as far as items, is pretty jank.
Oh, but Chrouya picks up the mirror as his only item from here.
Whew. So the mirror in Paradox Cave, which will give him access to Tower of Hera.
Yep, it is the green pendant, so not a terrible dungeon to check. What he really wants now, though, is that Dark World access.
Yeah. Now, if that's
that
one
was
of the
a
rods.
rod.
I think it was the fire rod.
Yeah, that is one of the rods up on Floating Island. If it is the ice rod, they could potentially forego it because Turtle Rock is only a pendant. But if it was indeed the fire rod, they'll definitely need to get that.
Let's be fair; they may not need that either.
Okay, good point.
Skullwoods is also a pendant, and if they know how to bomb jump the right side of Ganon's tower, then you can actually get through there.
Yeah, very true, very true. And if they
That
do
being
find
said-
bombos,
Yeah, that being said, Fire Rod might not be necessary, provided Bombos is available. You are correct. Because Ice Palace is going to require either Bombos or the Fire Rod. And Evanidus is going to go up and use that shovel.
gonna be very happy about that.
Pick up the hammer. So, like, if Chrouya had been up to the top of Death Mountain with the hammer, he would have already had Tower of Hera access without the mirror.
Very true.
So Misery Mire is required today, so we will be having a swag duck. Once again, Prier just, Palace of Darkness just not paying off. Chrouya finds a small key in the basement of the first basement of Hera, and the Master Sword in the second chest, so we have a fire-locked Hera.
Oh man, I hope that Master Sword doesn't make Chrouya do Agawan now. He still needs the lamp, obviously, so we're still a bit away from that. And since the lamp is in the Hype Cave, he probably needs Dark World access before even thinking about Agawan, but that can't be a good feeling for Chrouya right now.
Right, so Evanidus just checked out Hype Cave and got the pod entrance package.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Prier and Swerb are similarly heading toward Eastern Palace area. So we'll be seeing sort of a reversal of fortune here. And I think Chrouya is heading for the race game.
Yes, thank you. That is a great decision by him. He is not going to be happy about finding the hammer in the dig spot. At this point, though, I think he knows. He knows that dig spot is hiding something important.
Alright, so Chrouya goes to pick up that shovel, and very shortly we'll be picking up the hammer.
Yeah, and actually, now that I think about it, Chrouya will be getting Dark World access here in a second. Over that mirror he already found, he has a little bit of an advantage over everybody else.
Yeah, so it could be that there was that missing the hammer was a little blessing in disguise. However, you know, several of our other runners have made it through Palace of Darkness. So,
Well,
now,
go ahead.
Chrouya, having the moon pearl and the hammer and everything, is gonna make for Hype Cave. Now he has the hook shot, which neither player before had. After picking up the bow and the lamp and the flippers, do you think he'll make a shot at Swamp Palace?
That's a good question.
Because he also has the mirror.
I think he'll go to pod first. Just because, as you said earlier, this cave is just a pod welcoming package, basically.
Yeah.
People like to save Swamp for Go mode if it's at all possible, but he might just prove us wrong here in a second.
Though he might be thinking, everybody else probably got these so early on and they're all going to pod. Why don't I make the different play?
It could be.
And if I'm not mistaken, look what's happening.
Well, looks
Chrouya
like
is heading over to Swamp.
Alright, I mean, not necessarily a worse play than going to pod. You have one more potential item, a dungeon that's a little bit more annoying to full clear, but still.
Alright, so Swerb picking up his hook shot, as well as Prier shortly.
Yep, and Swerb, unlike all the others who were here before him, is also able to finish up EP in one go.
Very true. Unfortunately, he won't find anything at the Armos Knights other than a crystal. There you go. Alright, so Chrouya making their way into Swamp Palace.
Yep, show us what you're hiding, Swamp Palace. Let's have something good here.
Well, just a compass for now. And Swerb gonna head over to the Armos Knights. We can see how that fight goes. Armos Knights actually, there's some fairly good tech here if you want to get a good time on Armos.
Yeah, Armos seems like one of the easier bosses, and they are, but there's definitely some good stuff that you can do to quick kill them, skip the red knight.
Right. If you land 2 arrows on the first knight real fast, and then commence with the wrecking of the others, then you can land 1 more arrow and kill the last knight before it turns red. Because when it does turn red, it actually regains all of its health.
Alright, Prier not quite getting the red knight skip, neither did Swerb, I think, but still no problem picking up that Eastern Crystal.
Right. Alright, so Chrouya gonna open up the second chest in Swamp, and it's got the big key, so we will see what's in the big chest momentarily. For a second there, I thought he was just gonna walk off, but no. He's got the bomb upgrade there. Swerv's doing Hobo, and Prier looks like we'll be heading up Death Mountain.
Yeah, sure looks like it, and from what we know already, Prier is making the correct choice here, getting on his way over to the mirror.
Yep. Prier will also be able to finish Hera if he so desires.
Oh, very true, because it was fire locked.
And Prier will be able to take a slightly faster route to Hera on account of having the hammer. He's still going to go over to the east side and pick up the mirror, but then on the way up, he can just hammer over to Hera instead of having to save and quit, go up, mirror, go back, and so on.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more convenient.
And Swerb is going to do, I believe, our first look at Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, the fabled Ice Rock Cave. You were talking about it earlier, and it looks like Swerb says it's time to check that out now.
Just a big 20. Unfortunate.
Yeah, so far Swamp really hasn't paid out at all. I think it was 2 upgrades, a red rupee.
Yep. Alrighty. So Prier heading up to Death Mountain, gonna pick up that mirror.
It looks like Swerb is finally going for that Zora check. We already know that most of the items up here aren't anything to write home about, but nobody has actually checked Zora himself yet.
Yep, Zora proper is still a mystery. Alright, so Chrouya heading down into the back end of Swamp Palace. We've still got several items to find. Will we have a life lesson, or will we have something important?
Yeah, we'll find out in a second here if this trip up here was a waste of time or not.
And here comes the Loch Ness Monster. You're going to give him your 350 plus 150 and get a little love lesson.
Meh, meh. So from
we
what
had
I'm
the mirror in the Paradox Cave. We saw that on Chrouya's screen a little while ago. So Prier is going to head over to Tower of Hera. It looked like for a second there he was going to try to go for... oh no, he was checking the island. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it seems, unless I'm completely blind, which might happen with the restream that we're watching, but I think you were right on calling it the fire rod up there.
Yeah, I think so. So there's that Master Sword. Prier now going to head down, pick up a small key, and then we may get a coffee break.
Yep. Meanwhile, Chrouya fighting a Master Sword Argus, always kind of a pain because you have to slash every puff twice. Also,
Yep.
Swamp Palace not really paying out at all. A couple of rupees, a couple of bombs, a couple upgrades. Unless Argus drops anything of value, this was just for the crystal.
That's true. So all these memes about V26 saying you should go into dungeons, what's up with that? So Prier starts the intermission up there.
Yep, if there's ever any time to go out and get some snacks from the foyer, you might want to do it now.
But Swerb is heading into everybody's favorite meme dungeon, Skull Woods.
Oh, finding a key there is very nice. That means you don't have to go through that trap room that is really nothing more than a waste of time usually.
And there's a fire shield.
Alright, that's item number 1 out of Skull Woods.
Alright, so Prier finally picks up that big key and will be able to make his way through the rest of Tower of Hera. Meanwhile, Swerb finds the big key for Skull Woods.
Yep, he's gonna go for the much beloved bomb jump here if he can get it.
The only reason Skull Woods is a meme is because in V26 it apparently always has something. How about Quake?
And it has Quake.
So if the Quake medallion is required, then Skull Woods is a thing.
Yep, exactly.
Quack. Whack. Alright, so there's the other item in Tower of Hera, and Prier is going to peace out. Do you agree with that decision? Because Tower of Hera is the green pendant.
I kind of disagree, I have to say. I would probably... Yeah, if it's a green pendant, I'd probably finish it off. Tower of Hera is a pretty quick dungeon, and they've got everything they need to more or less easily finish it off. 3 hits with a hammer on Trolldorn's tail.
Yeah, the only problem with that is that it was going to be a little difficult for him to get back because he had just hookshot across to the big chest, and he'd have to find some way to bomb jump across or something. And that's not an easy bomb jump to do.
Yeah, that's very true, I guess.
Alright, so Swerb is checking the village of outcasts. Believe he found the bug net. Yeah,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Somebody's talking about the chance of a medallion being required. And, yes, it's 5 out of 9, unless you account for the fact that the Bombos medallion can be used for something else.
That's interesting to know. I never actually thought about that or did any math.
Yeah. So for each entrance, it can be one of 3. So the chance that it's not the medallion you're looking at is 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
You multiply those together, you get 4 out of 9. So that's a probability that neither of them require your medallion, and therefore the probability that at least one of them require the medallion is 1 minus that, or 5 out of 9.
That sounds strangely logical.
And I am a huge nerd. What's up? So, meanwhile, less math, more flute. We have a flute in Thieves Town.
Ooh, the flute!
And here we go. So Swerb almost leaves that key behind. He is going to finish off Thieves Town, because Thieves Town, it is a crystal, and you get 4 items in here. The flute was one of them, of course.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was 10 arrows, so that's less helpful.
Yeah, you're really hoping every chest that you open in this rando game, you hope for a progression item. Of course, you're well aware that not every chest you open can have a progression item, or it'd be a very complicated game.
Yep. Meanwhile, Swerb heading through Grasshopper Alley, which can be pretty treacherous if you are packing, the Titans.
Okay. Well, turns out Thieves Town is the play.
So we got semi-vanilla Thieves Town, got that Titansman in there. And he'll be heading down to retrieve the boss from the cell in the basement. All right. And yeah, I think the count here is correct. Like, the small key has not been found, and every other chest was an item. So Swerb is just grabbing the boss and heading out. Alright, so Prier will be following in the footsteps of Swerb after picking up that Titan's Mitt.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see here that either our left or our right runners seem to be perfectly in sync despite not even running in the same race.
Yep, that's the that tends to happen more often than not, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to witness in these four-way races.
Yeah, blind cannot have the small key because of key lock potential, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think he has a small key. Small key has to be in here. Oh, wait, did he come from the big chest room? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So basically, the small key had to be in the chest next to blind.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
the big chest has a burrito or a compass, and blind has the other. Alright, so JR Stumpsman with just a bomb upgrade.
Is that his name?
It is now.
Okay, works for me.
I mean, I just like the way JR Stumpsman sounds, and I have no idea why.
No, I can get behind that. I like it.
Alright, so Swerb is gonna start digging.
Yeah, they found the shovel earlier, even though you don't need it for the digging game. Maybe?
Let's see what's here. And so Evanidus will be heading into Swamp Palace to find the treasure trove of trash that's there. And there we go! There's a big heart with 24 digs.
Yeah, 24 digs for a heart container that Swerb Scoff said. I mean, with 12 hearts and blue mail, I can sort of understand it, but if it's just right there in the open...
Yeah, we had a race earlier today where someone denied themselves some safeties and then died some extra times that they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had a flute situation, and the next time it happens, I will be providing you with some, entertainment of sorts. But I like to do it. I like to do it when the flute is not actually from the audio stream. That way, I don't have to match up with that.
I'm so happy I'm commentating again with you next, so I'm not missing out on that.
Oh boy.
Alright, so what do we have here? We have Swerb going to Sanctuary, bringing back the blacksmith, while he probably also will activate his swag duck.
Yep. So... allow me to prepare my lyrics. Here we go. You may think I'm a nerd, but I just love this bird. I will give you my word that he's the best. And this game's pretty great, but I think at this rate, you might obliviate one stupid chest.
Oh, I'm hyped. That was amazing. Once again, thank you, Dr. Bobtastic, for your beautiful singing voice.
Yeah, that's right. I pulled out a $10 word.
That's gonna score you a lot of points in Scrabble, my friend.
Yeah. There's a V in it that's worth, 6 points or something? I don't know. Anyway.
Alright, thanks to your beautiful song, I completely missed what Swerb got from the blacksmith, but thankfully Prier is right on his toes, or on his heels, rather.
Yep. I believe it was both the greatest and worst thing ever.
Yeah, I can confirm it was both of those things.
All right, so Piece of Heart there in Peg Cave. The mirror was in the Paradox Cave, which Swerb will be getting momentarily.
Yeah, finally making his way up to Death Mountain. I'm a little surprised he's waited so long to do it, but he's still had a pretty good go.
Yeah, it's, you know, most of the stuff he's been doing has been the correct stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, Prier is going to be heading down to turn in the purple chest.
Well, we saw just in the race that I was commentating before that the purple chest was the key to go mode, so we'll see what it holds today.
Chrouya finishing up pod. Evanidus finishing up swamp. And Swerb getting trolled by dead rocks.
That was awful.
That's why I'm actually writing lyrics to a song called "Everybody Wants to Kill Those Squirrels."
Yeah, I was privy to that information thanks to you already mentioning that in your earlier commentary. Personally, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll put it together sometime. Maybe this weekend when I have time.
I hope it's going to be the theme music playing over the highlight video for this tournament.
Alright, just 5 arrow upgrade from the purple chest, so not a whole lot of anything today.
Yeah.
And where will Prier be heading next? Is it Prier's turn to take a dip into swamp?
It sure looks like it. Oh, and we're getting a Quakefish check from Chrouya.
Alright, so just heart piece from the Quake check.
Oh, and Swerb is in a unique position since he hasn't been up here yet. He can now do Spiral Cave and then take the Dark World Warp and immediately pick up his Fire Rod.
Wow. Very nice. Nobody else has actually come up here with the Titan's Mitts. And so Swerb is in great shape.
Yeah, so turns out what I said earlier about waiting so long to go up Death Mountain was actually the perfect choice.
So you never know how these are going to turn out for you. Swerb diving as many dungeons as he could, minus Swamp Palace. Which seems pretty good, actually.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, also the right choice, because we've already seen that Swamp Palace holds absolutely nothing except for the crystal at the end.
And here we go. Alright. So Evanidus is now the audio you are hearing.
Yeah, shoutouts to Fiesel for paying attention to everything that's going on and switching the audio up accordingly.
So it looks like we got ourselves a sword upgrade. In the Super Bunny Cave.
Oh, so I mean, Swerb is basically on his way to pick up Tempered Sword because Tower of Hera can't be far ahead of him here.
So he's gonna go pick up that rod, then probably head over to Tower of Hero. We may we may see him check Turtle Rock's entrance.
Yeah, won't be the worst choice. I mean, it is a pendant, and you're definitely hoping you don't have to go in there, but knowing what opens it, and if you can potentially already get in there with what you have, it's just a little ease of mind at the very least.
So we're grabbing some fairies. So, you know what I'm surprised by right now?
What's that?
No bottles. Wait, was that ice?
Oh, was it ice?
Like I said, I have a hard time telling the difference between ice and fire on the screen. So,
Yeah.
when it goes to the menu, we'll know for sure. Okay, they're saying
That was
fire.
fire,
I
okay.
will take fire.
Yeah, me too. Fire is definitely the more useful rod for these guys, so let's just call it fire.
Sounds good to me. This rod is on fire.
Can't help but sing, can you?
Nope. You can blame my parents for that one.
Hey, I'm enjoying it. Alright, so that is Tempered Sword for Swerb.
Alright. Tempered Swerb.
Tempered Swerb, yeah, exactly. Also interesting, I think he mirrored out right after he got that sword, so he thinks wasting time on the tile room and the bottom is just really a waste of time.
Yep, that could be a waste of time. So, one thing we haven't looked into yet is the quote-unquote pedestal hype index. And it looks like it may actually be dead.
I certainly hope so. You'll find I'm a very mean person who really doesn't like pedestal seats.
Boots are not dead. Because boots could be required for desert.
Yeah, very true.
And then potentially Bombos Medallion, if necessary. I didn't get to see it. I was looking in the wrong spot.
Yeah, me too. Okay, but we are getting a Meyer area check now from Prier57. As always, the left runners apparently deciding to be a little bit in sync.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, and I didn't see it again. These guys.
Swerb is playing the song of his people. That mirror.
Beep, 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 beep.
Beep, beep.
Alright, so Quake required for Misery Meyer, apparently.
Ooh. And Quake is a big deal because that's the Skull Woods item.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't been into Skull Woods to pick up your Quake, you're gonna be looking around for a while.
The thing is, a lot of these runners might not want to go into Skull Woods without the Fire Rod, which we know is hidden behind Mirror up on the floating island. So it might be a while until these guys decide to go for that Fire Rod and then dive into Skull Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since it's a pendant dungeon, so that makes it even more unattractive, probably.
Now, it turned out that both of the items were in the front part of Skull Woods, so that doesn't hurt. Was that a key?
I believe so.
I will find out for sure here in a second. There's the big key in the chest.
Yeah,
so
that's key.
Small key on the torch, which means that now we found the big key, which means the dungeon itself is not boots locked.
Nope.
But if there's an item on the right-hand side, then it is boots locked. That is a mushroom in the big chest.
We'll have to see what happens here.
Yep. If Landmolas has an item, then we know for sure that the boots are not required for this dungeon. There's always the way off chance that they are required for Ganon's tower.
Yeah, you can't forget about that.
So, Swerb is going to finish off Landmolas while Prier is going to immediately go check the mushroom before he forgets about it. Some people might opt to hang on to the mushroom in the boots!
Oh my god.
The boots from the mushroom!
That is not only super trolly, that might also mean Prier is making the perfect choice by leaving desert with a mushroom and coming right back.
Yeah, okay, so if Prier goes to Skullwoods and gets Quake, that's... Well, no, he needs the cane. I knew we were missing something. I was like, what are we missing? Cane. Alright, so we will see what is on Landmolas here.
Oh!
And it's gotta be Kane! I had to do it.
Yeah, no problem.
Or I could do the other thing where I'm like, if you check what's going on here, you'll notice. And you'll see that in the fine print it is in fact required to be Kane.
So that sadly also means for Prier that his choice to leave and come back with the boots wasn't necessarily a bad one, but a bit of a waste of time because, as we see, he picks up a burrito and a compass.
So go mode?
Oh, yeah, that might be a thing, huh?
Yeah, okay, so it's faux mode because boots might be required for GT.
Yeah.
But if Swerb goes to check that before going to Ganon's tower, then it's go mode.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't go mode already, but you know, I'll never count out that torch.
Alright, so Evanidus and Chrouya are going to be picking up their items. Evanidus picks up that flute.
Yeah, I'm gonna be happy about that, I'm sure. Swerb now hoping to find... is he hoping to find anything in here? Maybe the silvers?
Possibly.
I guess what he's really looking for is the big key. That's probably his main goal in here. Also, for purely selfish reasons, I do hope that Swerb will end up picking up the red mail at some point. And only Swerb, really. Just because I love making that crappy joke about clothes being a little bit too tight for the frog with his purple head that he gets once he picks up the red mail. But yeah, otherwise, this has been a surprisingly nice seed, I would say. They've got a couple of hearts. They've always, or almost always, had the amount of rupees that they wanted. They found most of the items that they needed pretty quickly on. Nothing too hidden or horribly trolly behind a million fetch quests or anything.
Yeah, this was pretty straightforward.
We'll see if it continues like that, or if that TR dip will be required. I mean, at this point, it probably won't be.
Oh no, did you guys actually hear that phone? Sorry.
That was okay. It was just a very pleasant ringtone.
Yeah, I went to my office. It's a trap.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Alright, yeah, I think we're back. I hope every issue has
Welcome
been
back,
cleared up.
everybody.
Hope you didn't miss us too much here.
And Prier is basically ready to do this.
Yeah, gonna be picking up his fire rod too here.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Swerb deciding to dip into Ice Palace. Probably gonna go mode this one too.
Yep. Don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you might be looking for the Butter Sword or maybe the Silvers, but other than that, there's really nothing Swerb needs anymore.
I think if there's any chest he checks, it could be the first one here with the pen gators, because it's kind of easy to get, but the rest of them, there's no way. It's way out of the way. He's not even doing that one.
Maybe the Freezor room, but if he's skipping these pen gators, then he might as well skip the Freezor room.
Right. And it looks like Chrouya will be picking up that Cane of Samaria shortly. Evanidus will be picking up that Swag Duck. I'm not sure what Prier is looking for.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either, but we'll find out in a second. Now that he has the fire rod, a couple more things open up for him.
Yeah, I didn't miscalculate the go mode, did I?
I don't think so.
It looks like Prier's heading for Ice Palace as well. So Swerb just pulled off a very nice Ice Palace bomb jump. Oh right, Prier's missing the Quake medallion.
Oh, of course. Oh, man.
So he never got Quake, and therefore he's not been to Skull Woods. Everybody knows that's where you go.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope that his fire rod, and after finishing up Ice Palace, he decides, alright, maybe Skull Woods is the play to make.
Yep. And now Evanidus has the Quake medallion, and that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, as soon as he decides to flute over there, if he hasn't already, I'm not quite sure, he'll be very happy to see that he can get right in there. Obviously, still needs the Cane of Samaria first to finish it all off.
Right. Jingle about Skull Woods to the Cheers theme. I can see it happening, but not at the moment. I'm not going to improv that.
Soon we'll have to have a Dr. Boptastic song request night here.
Well, it's not... The show is not about me. If I want to have a song request night, I'll do it on my own stream. Hey, the red mail from Cold Stare.
Finally, I can make my stupid joke. Look at that frog head. Looks like his red clothes are a little bit too tight around the neck.
I like it.
So
I got a question. I got a question for you. How do you kill an elephant?
I'm sure you'll tell me in a second.
With an elephant gun. How do you kill a blue elephant?
With a blue elephant gun?
With a blue elephant gun. How do you kill a pink elephant?
With a pink elephant
You
gun?
hold its nose until it turns blue, and then you shoot it with a blue elephant gun.
Get out of here. I can't believe that actually made me laugh.
You're welcome. Okay.
Alright, now Swerb is making his dip in the Swamp Palace. He will be in the unique situation that he can just go mode it, which will be so much quicker than what all the other guys have had to do. And Chrouya is going for that Pyramid Fairy check.
Yep. Alrighty. So Swerb going into Swamp now. This will be a quick run.
Yeah, gonna
Go
grab.
mode Swamp is great.
It's probably the most fun you can have clearing this dungeon, I would say.
I don't know if Go mode Swamp or Go mode Ice saves more time, but they both feel so great.
Yeah, they're definitely my two favorite dungeons to go mode, and I think that's true for most of our runners here.
Yep. So, again, in terms of chests that you might check in here if you're looking for silvers or something, I might check like the one in the waterfall room where you push the block, where you basically just have to walk by that anyway.
I guess if you want
to...
I guess if you want to be brave, you can take a quick turn downwards before you get into that room and check those two chests. But other than that, yeah, with Go mode and Tempered Sword, I'm sure all four of our runners that we're seeing here today are very, very capable of doing a silverless Ganon, especially with the Tempered Sword.
We'll probably see silvers in Ganon's tower if anywhere.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make my prediction now. The silvers will be in the randomizer room.
Okay.
My big key chest will be something different, but the silvers will be in the randomizer room.
And there's the Tempered Sword for Chrouya.
Yep. And Evanidus picking up that fire rod.
Yeah, looks like Chrouya is on his way there too after checking Hookshot Cave. Wants to check out what Turtle Rock requires first.
Yeah. It does turn out that the fire rod was in fact required, unless we could find the bombos somewhere else.
The standings for these runners are, I know that Swerb and Chrouya are both 1 and 3 currently, so they are fighting for elimination. I'm not 100% sure. I know you mentioned it in the beginning.
The upper race are the upper race Prier and Evanidus. They are 2 and 2.
Oh, okay.
So they're fighting to control their own destiny as far as the group stage goes. You'd much rather be 3 and 2 than 2 and 3.
Absolutely.
If you get to 3 and 2, you only have to beat one other person to make the group stage. If you get to 3 and 3 or 2 and 3, you have to beat that one person and then like 17 in the next race.
But we
Probably
do have Swerb picking up his last crystal, and you guys know what that means.
Oh man, it is time to call the big key in Ganon's tower. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 22 locations where the big key can be. 21 chests and a torch. And where do you think it's going to be? Durfy, where do you think it's going to be?
Well, for Swerb's sake, I hope it's not on the torch, because he is without boots at the moment. But my usual pick is number 8, and I do know your usual pick, but I don't want to take anything away from you here.
Of course. Anybody who knows me knows what my name is. My official contractually obligated pick is Bob's Chest.
Yep, so we've got Bob's Chest from Dr. Popastic, 8 from me, and about every other number or possible location from the chat so far.
Yep, we got locations for days.
Prier still desperately looking for that Quake. He is in red mail now too, decides to check the Pyramid Fairy. And the same is going for Chrouya, really.
Indeed. So we're gonna open up the portal here on top of Turtle Rock, just because it's technically the fastest way to get up here. The reason being the Dark World path up here takes so long because you have up and down and up and down and up and down in that one cave.
Oh man, and having to make this trek over here without boots, just annoying. Oh, and look at that! We see Evanidus picking up the Riot Shield here in Ice Palace, the first of our Forerunners to pick up the 3rd shield upgrade.
Nice. And here we go. Swerb making his way into Ganon's Tower. Alright, on the right side we have the powder and a piece of heart, which will give him an additional heart. So the magic powder found in the right side of Ganon's Tower, that's a great item to find. Only a heart container on the torch, which means Bob lives today.
Bob lives today, and Swerb is very happy that he doesn't have to leave GT for those boots.
Yep. It is, however, hilarious that the mushroom that was found there in Desert Palace gave you the boots.
That is indeed truly trolly.
And Swerb picking up the usual mass of keys in the Stalfos room.
I think what Swerb really wants to find here still is, well, either the silvers, I guess, or half magic.
Yeah.
Because
silverless without half magic is less fun. How about a potion full of magic?
That works too, I guess.
How you feel about that?
Surprisingly, our very first bottle this seed. First bottle in Ganon's Tower. Where do you
I wonder
ever
what
see
Sick
that?
Kid has.
Yeah, me too.
I'm thinking Ice Rod. Just for like maximum troll.
Mm-hmm.
And we're heading into the rando room.
Yep, chests number 10 to 13 coming up here.
Yep. And we'll see if my my silver arrow prediction is correct.
Oh yeah, you did say they were in here, so let's see if we have to start the stake or not.
It's 1 in 4 chests. I don't think it's stake worthy. There's the big key.
There's a big key.
Nope.
Nope.
There will be no silvers today, because Swerb will be heading up the tower with 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 52 seconds on his clock. We begin the ascent up Ganon's Tower. Oh wow, we've actually started doing the big key guessing game
Oh,
in chat. That's really cool.
I was wondering about that earlier because I've seen it once so far from Fiesel, and he inadvertently, and I don't think with purpose, but he trolled chat pretty hard because after it was done, he was like, "Oh, this is only for subscribers and supporters. Sorry, guys."
Oh, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love it.
I just think it's so amazing how Randomizer has just kind of blown up over the last few months.
Yeah, the community has grown at an almost exponential rate, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not getting rid of us that easily either.
Oh man, it's just so great. So anyway, Swerb is making his way through the gauntlet. Meanwhile, Evanidus and Chrouya both going through Ice Palace. Evanidus finishing that up, and Prier is going to be bonking his way into the bonk rocks. And there we go. That's the ice rod. The ice rod found at the bonk rocks. And it looks like we have just had a subscription here. So, thank you, Targathar, for that subscription.
Yep, thanks, Targathar. Shoutouts. So we're almost getting the one cycle on that Lamola 2 fight.
Yep.
Still, at this point, he is so far ahead of everyone else.
Swerb is going to be just crushing it here. And Chrouya is not a bad runner, you know?
No, none of these guys are
unfortunately, it looks like Chrouya will end up 1-4. I mean, somebody has to lose.
Yeah, we're really...
sad.
It is absolutely sad, but at this point we're really in the do-or-die phases of this tournament. All the good players, basically only great players left, and every elimination hurts because we're losing a great player.
Indeed. So, Prier has finally headed toward Skull Woods. Ooh, Swerb had a little issue with that torch room.
Yeah, I need to be a bit careful here, but okay, makes it through.
There we go. And has plenty of keys, doesn't have to mess with those mini Helmosaurs. Someone saying that the tiebreaker race should be Zelda 1 rando. Kind of doubt that would be particularly useful. Also, that's a completely different set of skills. And another bottle in the final chest at the top of Ganon's tower.
Alright, now Swerb moving over to the Aga 2 fight. He is on an amazing pace.
We will likely be seeing a sub 125 run here. Ooh. And a couple of hits here. Oh, almost got that last hit in.
Oh, got sapped a little bit, but this setup is beautiful. There we go.
There we go. Well done. And Swerb moves on to the Ganon fight. Now Swerb has the Tempered Sword, but no silver arrows, which means Swerb will have to spin attack Ganon at just the right time in the final phase 12 times to kill him.
Yep, gonna be a lot of spins going on here. Or slashes, thanks to the Tempered Sword.
Yeah. However, if it is a slash, it will take twice as many.
Mm-hmm.
But most people do not. Most people don't do straight slashes in the silverless phase because you can't get multiples in, and there's no real chance of improving.
Swerb getting a pretty good position. Oh man, and that dodge on the fireballs.
Swerb one cycling phase 2 easily. Prier now finally has that Quake medallion and will be heading into Misery Mire right behind Evanidus.
Mm-hmm.
So this top race is pretty close.
Oh, and Chrouya is making the Turtle Rock gamble here. Still looking for that Quake medallion. That's gonna cost him some
That's
time.
unfortunate. And Ganon just decides to teleport 14,000 times.
Holy Jesus.
Did we find the arrows in Turtle Rock?
Oh, come on. So that might be one thing Chrouya has going for him once he gets done with this dungeon.
Yep. Alright, so Swerb needs to light the torches and make some good spin attacks against Ganon.
Yeah, he got the torch glitch, it looks like, and he's using the fire up. Keep in mind, he picked up that green goo in Ganon's tower, so magic isn't too much of a worry for him right now.
Yep. So the trick to Silverless Ganon, for anybody who doesn't know, is to spin attack him just as he is teleporting away. You have a small window of, what is it, like 4 frames or something to hit him before he becomes invulnerable. But yeah, Swerb pulling off the triple spin strat, very great. And Swerb will complete this race. He finishes with a first place time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 15 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely amazing run from Swerb here, and if you've ever wondered how to do a Silverless Ganon correctly, just rewatch Swerv's fight is my advice here.
That was a masterclass in Silverless Ganon. Right, so we have returned to the audio of Prier's stream. And they're both heading into the Vitreous fight.
Yeah, not too far apart. It might come down to execution here at the end for the top race. Meanwhile, Chrouya checking out everything he can. He managed to pick up the Butter Sword and Turtle Rock, it looks like, but now he's coming back for Tower of Hera.
Alright, so Vitreous being, summarily destroyed by both Evanidus and Prier57. And now Prier has the Eastern Palace crystal, while Evanidus does not. So Evanidus will have to go finish Eastern Palace before heading up to Ganon's tower.
Oh yeah, that's very true. I didn't even realize that. Oh, and it looks like Prier picked up the Ice Rod somewhere?
He did. It was in the Bonkrok's cave.
Oh, amazing. How did I miss all that?
I think I mentioned it when it happened. I just could have mentioned it in a very sweet and sultry tone that distracted you.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Let's go with that.
Sure. All right.
All right, and Prier managing to... Oh, well, I was just going to say managing to dodge everything on his way there, but he does run into the cabbage at the end. I'm sure it was on purpose, though. He just wanted to get rid of his sword beams, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you absolutely have control over those cabbages. Hey, there's the message for Hammer in Haunted Grove.
Stop hammer time.
We got breadsmiths. So Chrouya's heading into Hera to go finish that out.
Yeah,
Looks like the sick kid just had a heart container.
Yeah, okay. Could be worse, but definitely not what they're looking for, obviously.
But it was kind of hilarious that there were no bottles throughout this entire run until the very end.
Yeah, very strange to see that. I mean, with 4 bottles in the game, you expect to at least find one somewhere, especially with the amount of places they've checked.
Alright, so Prier opening up Ganon's tower. Let's see how long it takes them to get through.
And Chrouya must think he might be getting that quick for the green pendant, otherwise there's no real reason to finish all this up.
And the pedestal had a B-Tor.
Ooh.
And
Alright,
there we go.
There's Evanidus picking up his last crystal. He is going to be making his way up to Ganon's tower.
Yep. And, you know, one slip in execution, especially on Silverless Ganon fight, could easily change the tide of this race.
Absolutely. We still got a super close race going on here on the top. As you say, just a simple slip up. You might die from a Ganon hug, even though it's kind of unlikely, I guess, with the amount of hearts and the red mail that they have, but he could always bump you down into the pit, and then you have to restart the whole fight over again.
There is that. Okay. So, Evanidus gonna go up to Ganon's tower. Prier gonna grab a bunch of keys out of this room and make his way toward the big key, which we know is in the randomizer room. Oh no, it looks like Prier is doing the modified Dark Magician route, heading to the right side now. So that's going to give Evanidus a chance to catch up.
Yeah, if Evanidus decides to go pure left side, he might be finding the big key at about the same time as Prier does.
Indeed. Still waiting on our race winner to make his way into the waiting room. But again, it's no real hurry on that.
Yeah, just taking a little break from this match. I mean, he was fighting for, or rather against, his elimination, so I'm sure nerves played a big role in this one.
We know where the silvers are. They're in Turtle Rock, but Chrouya did not go in and get them when he was in Turtle Rock. I think the second Swerb done, Chrouya was like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, he probably realized, okay, couldn't have been a Turtle Rock. That would have taken him a lot more time to full clear that.
And Evanidus heading in. And Prier is going to go straight to the Ice Armos.
Oh man, if Evanidus decides to go left for the full run through, this is gonna be real close.
Indeed. But at least we'll get to see what's in all these chests. So, Bob's chest will be the next one. You're not wrong. Quake is, in fact, in Oklahoma. And there we go.
And Evanidus is indeed deciding to go full left side here, so we'll have to see how this turns out.
Well, we don't know yet, because Prier came up here and then mirrored out.
Oh, very true.
So... Swerb's bonk count, pretty impeccable.
Oh, 0.
And yes. Yeah, he didn't have the boots.
Oh, yeah, of course, duh. Also, Swerb is finally... he's finally in the waiting room, so I'm gonna pull him in here real quick.
Hey, Swerb, GG!
Swerb. GG and congrats, man.
Thanks.
That was a masterfully routed run.
It felt really good. I forgot what it feels like to win.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. Like I felt really good about the route, obviously. Everything kind of just worked out, and I just basically got lucky. Like everything was just like where it happened to go.
Yeah, your routing worked out perfectly, really.
You know what really did it for you?
Looks like Quake.
Yep, Skull Woods. The V26 meme of Skull Woods. You know, you got there and your opponent did not. Till very late.
Yeah, I tuned in and I saw that he just found Quake as I was tuning in. I was like, I forgot where Quake even was until he picked it up, and I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that, like, that might have been something that you got hung up on.
I think the first real... Well, it didn't turn out to be that big of a time loss because it actually kind of favored or played into his routing, but Chrouya decided to shun the shovel right at the beginning for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
That, obviously, you might remember, Shovel Spot held the hammer for you guys. So he checked a lot of things that he didn't necessarily need to check before finally going back there and grabbing his shovel and the hammer.
Yeah, that's kind of an odd decision. I'm a little surprised by that.
So, as expected, because Evanidus did not, went straight for where the big key was, he has now taken the lead over Prier.
Oh, that's interesting. He was behind before entering Ganon's tower, but thanks to the GT routing, he is now indeed ahead.
We have ourselves a pretty solid race on the top of the screen here.
Yeah, Chrouya is just...
That's really close.
So, what do you think? What are you thinking when you get Dark World access that early? You've got, you had Hammer, you had Glove, you had Moon Pearl super early. What are you thinking when that happens?
I'm thinking pretty much what I did is like I just got to go to the Dark World and start exploring there.
All right.
I mean, it's a new area that opened up to you, and especially after you've already explored like half the Light World, it tends to be more item dense at that point because you get left with like things in the Light World, like you have Zora, and then like you have like Desert Cave. Like Eastern, you have everything all spread out, whereas like you go to Dark World, you have everything like you have Hype Cave, and there's a bunch of items like right there, or you go to Village of Outcasts, you have like a bunch of items right there.
Yep, seems like a pretty solid strategy.
Happened to go to Hype Cave and find like the bow and the lantern, and I already had the hammer, and I was like, this seems like a pod play, which actually didn't really have anything.
Yeah, Pod was strangely empty, and so was Ice Palace, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and Swamp. Like,
oh yeah, Swamp.
some people went for Swamp early, and that didn't pay out either.
Yeah, imagine that's what in my mind was like the biggest difference once I found that cane, and I was like, oh, I can go mode Swamp and Ice. Like if someone decides to go to Swamp and Ice, especially Ice, which is typically like has shown itself to have like items pretty darn often in this logic.
Mm-hmm.
Once it opens up, it can be really appealing to go there. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna say like 3 to 5 minutes by just like being able to go mode Ice rather than full clearing it. And
Yeah.
like another 5 from like Swamp.
You absolutely saved a ton of time there. I do have to ask you though, were you ever at any point worried that you might need the boots for GT?
On my way up, I was a little worried, but I was like, I don't know.
It's like 1 out of
I would
22,
have just,
right?
yeah. I mean, what are the odds? Like, I didn't need them up to that point. Like,
Yeah.
luckily,
I mean,
Desert wasn't boot locked, and I was like, if it is, like, I'll just end up full clearing G Tower, and then I'll have to look everywhere else.
So you know how the mushroom was in the big chest in Desert?
Is the boots?
mhm.
It was the boots.
That's amazing.
And we had Prier, I believe it was, getting that mushroom and immediately mirroring out to get those boots. And we were like, oh, that might actually pay off for him. But then you killed Lanmo and it dropped the Cane of Samaria, so...
Yeah, I was going to turn in the mushroom like after Lammo, but then they dropped Cane, which was the last thing I needed. And I was like, well, time to just finish up, I guess.
Yeah, and as we were saying, it was really a pleasure to watch, and especially your Silverless Ganon, just beautiful.
Oh, I was like, I had a couple of close calls. Like, I don't even remember the last time I've like been forced to do Silver Ganon, just because like in this logic, I'm so typical that I end up clearing 95% of everything anyway. So like, the odds of not having Silver Arrows has been pretty low.
Yeah, they were off in Turtle Rock today, and for once, you didn't have to dip independent Turtle Rock. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was,
So Prior finds the book in the chest before Moldorm.
Interesting find there. Not really come into play, obviously, at all, but...
And Evanidus with an excellent Aghanim 2 fight.
Ooh, there was a blue goo in the validation chest. That's the second bottle we see the seed. Oh yeah, also Swerb. How about
Bottles
those
were
bottles?
very scarce.
yeah, that was. There's no bottles, and then there's like the green goo in the basement of Ganon's Tower, and then the blue goo like after Moldorm.
Yep. And then there was one on the pedestal.
I was like, well, I guess I have plenty of magic if I need to like resort to using the cane or something.
Yeah, we thought that might lead you to checking fewer chests on the way up because you might not be looking for like half magic or something silly like that. So that was an excellent Ganon fight as well. Your Silverless Ganon execution was, unparalleled. So, was there any point in that Ganon fight where you were thinking, is he ever going to stop teleporting?
Oh yeah, so truly, it was like 8 in a row or something. Somewhere around that. I didn't actually count, but I was like, he was going back and forth between the same 2 spots too, which kind of added to it.
Yeah, and of course, luckily, everyone else in the race is going to experience the same wonderful teleport sequence.
Yep, as we see you with Evanidus here.
Just heading back and forth. So Evanidus is coming up on the final phase of the Ganon fight. Meanwhile, Prior just starting the first phase, so this is, anything could happen, but right now, it looks like Evanidus has the advantage.
Yeah, both guys in the Ganon fight at the same time. Evanidus already in the last phase. So, unless he gets knocked off or somehow manages to die, which shouldn't really be a thing.
See, this is why I avoided saying specifically if the knockoff happens, because now it's not a curse. Now it is. Thanks.
Well, if it happens, you can all blame me.
Yeah.
But looks like Evanidus has got this in the bag.
Ooh. Getting a little close to the edge there, but no real problems here. Getting the setup for the triple. Ooh. Getting bodied by a fire bat there, but managing to not fall off. And there we go. Evanidus takes down Ganon.
Yep, GG to him, and congrats on his win for his race over there. Is now 3-2. While Prier
He has
will
an
be
official SRL time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 56 seconds.
Yep, GG to him.
Yeah. Congrats to him.
All right. And Prior doing the Silverless fight. So, Swerb, you got anything else to say to us?
No, just thank you guys for commentating. It's always much appreciated.
Oh, it was a pleasure, especially this seed. You guys put on a great show.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice runs all around.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and yeah, kudos for doing the double. The double matches are tough to follow and commentate on. There's a lot going on.
Well, it was fun. Had lots of action on the screen at all times.
Yep, it certainly never got boring.
And there's Prior finishing in second place with a official SRL time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 20 seconds.
Yep, as far as I remember, Prier sadly does not have a microphone, so we won't be getting him in for a post-game interview.
So what about Evanidus?
I did ask him, but I'm not sure yet.
We will find out, won't we?
I sure hope we will. Oh, he also does not have a microphone, so no post-game interviews from our top runner, sadly. Evanidus is in the chat, though, so feel free to ask him your questions right there.
Alright, yeah, just thanks again, guys. I should probably get going.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Swerb. Go ahead and you can bail out whenever you want to.
Alright. See you guys around.
Yeah, see you, GG, and congrats again, and obviously good luck for the rest of the tournament. You better come back, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll try to squeak in into that wild card.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so both of our runners up top doing a great job finishing off. Evanidus advances to 3-2 and maintains control of his own destiny as far as reaching the group stage goes. Prior will have to hope for a win and then a good performance in the wild card race.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Chrouya is unfortunately doing his last climb up Ganon's Tower for the tournament.
Yeah, sadly. He was already typing on IRC a little bit earlier after congratulating Swerb. He's obviously not too happy about this.
Right.
We'll see if we can get him in for a post-game interview, if he's up and in the mood for it.
But he's being a good sport about it, making sure to finish it off, and giving us all a good show in the process. So, you know, everybody here has done a great job and deserves your support and your follow here on Twitch. So make sure to follow all four of these runners: Prier57, Evanidus, although it's just Vanidus on Twitch, and Swerb and Chrouya.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, give all these guys a follow. They put on a great show. They're great runners and great streamers, so don't miss out on anything there.
Yeah. So Evanidus, I don't know if you noticed, but basically, your opponent made a gamble on the Ganon's Tower key by doing sort of the Dark Magician route, where you go in and get the 4 chests in the Stalfos room and then head right, and that basically handed you the race because you had the correct answer to head to the left side. So later on today, in the rest of the Speed Gaming Network, we've got races and also more races.
Today is absolutely jam-packed with so many races. I think, even counting the secondary tournament, we're coming up to a total of 21 races today.
Yep, so we've got Christos Owen and Tear coming up here in a bit. I think it's meant to start pretty soon, though I saw Tear in the chat, so I'm a little confused. And then we've got some more runs later. We've got Zero Rush versus really should be looking at the schedule when I'm trying to read off the schedule. Yeah, so we've got Zeros versus Jinja. We've also got more Randomizer happening right now on Speed Gaming 2 and Speed Gaming 3. That's races between Mikon and Kevin Caballero and Cruel and Ruble on all kinds of these races.
Yeah, there's tons of good stuff coming up. You really only have to decide what you want to miss and not what you want to watch at this point.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, there's always the VODs for later.
Thankfully, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised that the ones without boots won.
Yeah, considering where you got them.
Yeah, if Prier had gone to get the boots and then immediately went back to Desert to finish it, that would have been an excellent play. But unfortunately, I like it. That's a secret. If you find boots, don't pick them up.
Words to live by.
Chrouya is net dashing.
Getting some swag.
Chrouya is doing swaganim. So everybody get those swaganims. We don't have a swaganim emote, but we should. There's a double with a net dash. I love it.
Oh, a little bit early on that dash there.
And Chrouya finishes off Aghanim 2 with those swag strats.
Oh, he's going to try to catch the bat before he can get away. Maybe save himself again and fight. Aww.
Yep, unfortunately that doesn't seem to work in this game. I'm told the hitbox of the bat is just so small you can't even catch him. That is true, there are no empty bottles, bucko.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's the only reason you couldn't catch that bat, obviously. Alright, now we're seeing the only serval as Butter Sword Ganon, which will make the fight even more quick than it was before.
Yeah, in case anybody was confused, there is no way to catch the Ganon bat. I don't want to spread misinformation on the stream.
Yeah, sadly, there's no way to skip the Ganon fight by catching that bat.
Now the good news for Chrouya is he's got the Butter Sword, which makes the first 2 phases pretty much super easy.
And here come the teleports.
So many teleports. No. And Chrouya gonna light a torch, and we will see what happens to Ganon. He's gonna get slashed and more slashed. And Chrouya taking a little bit of a hit from a fire bat there.
Yeah, I mean, he's still good with the red mail, but he needs to be a little bit careful. He might want to dip into that blue goo he found earlier.
So, one thing I learned the other day, and this is just something, you know, that some people should know, and not everybody does. If you get hit by a fire bat, don't push the direction away from the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fire bat will knock you in the opposite direction from what you're moving. And so if your instinct kicks in and you're like, oh, I gotta get away from that hole, you will get knocked into the hole. And there goes Chrouya finishing off.
Yep, finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 51 and 47 seconds.
All right. So we'll see if Chrouya wants to come in and talk about it or not.
Looks like he's already in the waiting room, so I'm gonna pull him in here real quick. GG,
Hey.
Chrouya.
Hello. GG.
Welcome.
Go
Welcome
ahead.
to the room. Okay, so first thing I have to ask.
I
Is there
miss
some-
I miss input and I save and quit on accident.
Oh, no,
When I
that's
saw
fine.
the shovel.
Oh,
Oh, no.
so it
So-
wasn't purposely skipping the shovel. You just
No.
accident.
And when I save and quit, I was like, oh well, I'm committed now because going back there costs quite some time.
Yeah.
So when I went to dark rooms and I found the hookshot and I found the mirror and stuff on Death Mountain, I thought like, oh, I think I skipped the lamp. There's high odds that I skipped the lamp. Guess that wasn't the case.
So I wanted to ask you something based on the file names I saw. Right? Do you and Swerb kind of have this rivalry going on?
Well, we just have I don't know. We just have like I always hang out in his chat. So
Yeah, because I think he had a sort of GG, but with to you, but with your name misspelled and mispronounced, like everybody else tries to.
Mhm.
It said Chrouya.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It started off with someone misspelling his name, and it caught on. So I started calling him Swerb all the time, and it
Nice.
fit perfectly as a name. So not as an insult or anything. It's just it's just friendly banter.
Yep. So I wanted to make sure there wasn't like some sort of actual hatred
Oh,
going
no.
on. We don't need that in Randomizer.
No, actually, we haven't actually raced each other in a while, but usually I talk it out when we play weeklies. He always gets fourth, for example.
I do have an interesting question from the chat. What is tehepero?
Tehepero is a Japanese. Well, I guess it's kind of like an onomatopoeia where you wink with your eye and you pull out your tongue.
Oh, okay.
It's also the emote Tehepelo with an L on Twitch right now. So if you
Oh.
write Tehe and then pillow, the T and the P with caps, you get this kind of face.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
it's kind of like a jokey face. So that's why like there is no absolutely no ill intent with saying Swerb sucks.
Right.
And it
Cool.
seems that I'm the one who sucked this time, so
What are you gonna do?
I don't really think it was you sucking so much as just leaving that one chest behind in Swamp, in Skull Woods.
Yeah, so,
I never went to Skullwoods, so
yeah, that was the issue.
Oh yeah.
I
You
kind
gotta-
of routed my way into Skullwoods, but then I thought I could do crystals, so I went to do crystals instead when I found the myths, I think. Yeah, I found the myths, so I was like, I can do some other dungeons now. I was actually routing to go up, but then I could do the blacksmith and the chest, so that lead me downwards up until I go to ice, I think.
Right.
Ice
I was
and
just,
checking the medallion for Meyer. So I kind of wanted to go up. My routing every single time I raise randomizers, my routing just lets me go the other way.
Yeah. I mean, somebody, the meme is you go to Skull Woods because version 26 is version 26,
I mean,
and
I understood, like, when I went to Swamp early, because I felt like, hey, I got, I routed this kind of badly because now I got the hammer, but at least I can early enter Swamp. Turns out to be absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I guess version 26 does say, like, Swamp is not really as, like, paying off as it used to be. I wanted to check Meyer so badly because I know Meyer is always a good play, but then Meyer is always closed off. So I can't do that. I thought, well, maybe then Turtle Rock is a good play, or getting 5 and 6. So I was looking for those faraway chests. Like, those would give me any kind of comeback. So
yeah, I actually liked your play into Swamp because I thought, so you at that point, you were the only one who had the hook shot and the mirror.
Right.
And you went to Hype Cave and you found the bow, you found the lamp, and you found the flippers, right?
Yeah.
And so most of the players there found those and said, oh, that's the Palace of Darkness entrance package. I'm going in. And then I thought, you might be like, okay, I found these here. Everybody else is going to go to Pod. I'm going to go to Swamp.
Yeah, it's kind of like that idea, because I was like, I have the mirror. I'm pretty sure no one has the mirror at this point. Or maybe the sword from Hera. Because of the mirror I found, and then I went to Hera and then found a sword. Can't progress because I still didn't have any fire source. I knew that the fire rod was up there though, so that was nice information. Except I couldn't do anything with it.
Right. Well, I think you did an excellent job with the seed. It's just sometimes the seed doesn't cooperate with you.
I don't think this game in its whole doesn't cooperate with me at the moment. Honestly, like, every single race right now has been, well, except for one maybe, but it's been, I'm finishing like 10 minutes later because I go to the last possible place every single time for an item that is always one of the items that I then try to check in my next race and it doesn't pay off, so.
Yeah.
Well, Chrouya, I think we're going to have to cut it off because I think we've got another race coming up.
Yeah. I took my sweet time.
So thank you, Chrouya, for running. Thank you to all of our runners for putting on such a great show. Make sure to support them with your follows. Thank you so much to Feasel for running the restream. Somehow having a machine that can handle these 4 restreams at once, I don't even know. But also to our trackers, Dude and MathGirl718, putting together an excellent set of items for you so that you can all see what's going on. Hervey, thanks for commentating with me.
Yeah.
It's been good.
It's been good fun. Of course, thanks to you too for commentating with me. Thanks for that wonderful Swag Duck song.
And I'll see you again later tonight when we commentate another race. But until then, I've been Dr. Bobtastic.
Yep, and I've been Herfy Durfy, and I hope you guys have a great night.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.